Hello, my fellow animal lovers. How are you today? Before I ferry you to dreamland, if you love the content and you love animals, I encourage you to show your support by subscribing. By the way, tell us where you are in the world in the comments section. What time do you like watching our channel? I look forward to reading all your comments. Enjoy. Chapter 1: The Stillness of the Ground. The world below, beneath the hurried glances of the vast, towering beings, unfurls itself as a realm of profound and enduring quietude. It is a vastness that cradles secrets in its every curve, an immensity not of empty space, but of densely packed wonders, each waiting to be discovered by the patient gaze. Here, close to the very heart of the earth, the ground beneath is not the monotonous flatness one might imagine, but an intricate tapestry woven from countless undulations, a ceaseless flow of gentle sweeping hills that rise with a quiet grace, and softly descending valleys that beckon with their shadowed embrace. These are not grand, intimidating peaks, but monumental textures, an epic landscape rendered in miniature, lying in wait to be leisurely explored, to be felt rather than merely seen, inviting the mind to slow its own internal rush and simply observe, simply be. Each tiny fold, each imperceptible rise and fall, contributes to a topography of such intricate detail that it could occupy the senses for an eternity, a landscape of quiet, unfolding marvels. Upon this intricately sculpted surface, a lone ant, a minuscule voyager, commences its unhurried journey. It is a slow, deliberate pilgrimage, a solitary venture across a terrain that, to its scaled perception, stretches outward with an almost infinite expanse. Each tiny step is a commitment, a gentle placement of limb upon the textured canvas of its world, moving with a rhythm that seems to echo the very pulse of the earth itself. It is a journey less about reaching a distant point with haste, and more about the serene act of movement within the present moment, a quiet dance across a world that offers an endless succession of unfolding experiences, each one a tiny revelation. The ant is not driven by urgency, rather it is guided by an innate, quiet purpose, a natural flow that exists in perfect harmony with the unhurried pace of its surroundings. From this unique and humble perspective, a single grain of sand, an object utterly insignificant to the towering beings above, transforms into a grand and imposing mountain, its scale reimagined by the ant's intimate proximity. Its surface is not smooth, but a mosaic of countless, minute, sharp edges, each one a precipice, a tiny ridge, a crevice that casts a fleeting, quiet shadow. These miniature formations create a complex topography, a world within a world, inviting the ant to navigate its rugged slopes with careful, measured steps, a silent testament to the grandeur that exists in the smallest of things. The very act of traversing this mountain becomes a profound exploration, each tiny particle a challenge, a texture, a silent story etched into the very fabric of the earth. And beside these grainy peaks, a fallen leaf, once vibrant and aloft, now rests as a soft curving plane, a smooth, undulating expanse that whispers of its life in the gentle passing breeze. It is a kind of soft cradle, a yielding surface that offers a temporary respite, its delicate veins tracing ancient pathways, its very presence a silent invitation to contemplation, a place where the light plays in muted tones and the air holds a memory of green. The leaf, with its gentle contours, becomes a vast, comforting landmass, its soft fibers a plush carpet beneath the ant's delicate feet. It is a reminder of life's gentle cycle of descent and rest, a perfect quiet haven in the sprawling landscape. The roots of a great ancient tree, reaching down with silent resolve into the dark, nourishing earth, appear like ancient sleeping creatures, their gnarled forms resembling the weathered bodies of slumbering giants. They are repositories of deep time, their silent presence a testament to centuries of growth and endurance. They are patient, powerful anchors, drawing sustenance from the hidden depths, their very existence a quiet hum of life below the surface. And springing forth from the earth around them, the tender shoots of new plants are patient, green things, pushing upward with an almost imperceptible yet determined force. Their silent emergence is a monumental awakening from a long slumber, a continuous rebirth, a gentle unfolding of new life, each blade of grass, each tiny stem, a silent testament to the earth's endless capacity for renewal. In this microscopic universe, the air itself feels heavy and rich with scent, a tangible presence that embraces and defines the ant's reality. It is not an empty space, but a dense tapestry of olfactory information, a constant, gentle flow of signals and stories carried on imperceptible currents. The ant's world is not one of sharp, distracting visual details, a kaleidoscope of bright, jarring colors, but rather a realm profoundly experienced through subtle sensation. Its eyes, positioned low to the ground, are not designed for intricate clarity or precise focus. Instead, they are low resolution, perfectly suited to perceive the broad strokes of light and shadow, the gentle shifts in illumination, and the slow sweeping motion of something vast moving across the horizon. It is a world of soft, flowing forms, where edges blur into gentle transitions, and contrasts are rendered in muted, comforting tones, a visual landscape that encourages the mind to soften its own rigid focus. The ant's primary way of experiencing this world is not through the dominance of its vision, but through its other, more acute senses, its antennae, which are perpetually engaged in a slow, deliberate, exploratory dance, tapping and sweeping the ground before it, testing the very texture of the air, discerning the unseen contours of its immediate surroundings. These delicate instruments are extensions of its perception, sensitive beyond human comprehension, and along its entire body, tiny, almost invisible hairs, known as setae, are constantly feeling the slightest tremor of the earth, the most subtle change in air pressure, the faint brush of a passing breeze. This magnification of the minuscule into the immense creates a feeling of slow motion wonder, a tranquil immersion into a reality where every detail holds profound significance. The mind, observing this quiet ballet, is invited to exist in a place where everything is grand, slow, and non-threatening, a peaceful, sprawling landscape of texture and feeling that cradles it in a sense of secure vastness. This quiet, gentle occupation of the mind, this serene focus on the delicate intricacies of the ant's world, is the first subtle step toward letting go of one's own internal struggles and hurried anxieties. The ant is not in a hurry, not driven by a frantic clock. It simply exists within the gentle, quiet workings of this great, still world, moving with a natural, unforced grace. The sounds of this world are also low and gentle, deep and quiet vibrations that emanate from the earth itself, like a faint, resonant hum, an almost imperceptible lullaby in the perfect stillness of the profound night, inviting the listener to sink deeper into its encompassing calm. The very air pulses with this silent song, a harmony of existence that requires no conscious effort to hear, only a quiet willingness to feel. Chapter 2: The Invisible Whisper. The ant moves with an understated, quiet purpose, its delicate legs tracing an almost imperceptible path upon the variegated ground. Yet, this is profoundly not an individual journey, not a solitary quest driven by isolated will. The purpose, though embodied in each tiny step, is a purpose profoundly shared, deeply interwoven into the collective consciousness of its kind. As the ant makes its unhurried way, its antennae constantly fluttering, perpetually probing the air and the ground, it is guided by something unseen, an intangible presence that nonetheless exerts a powerful yet gentle influence. This is the trail pheromone, a kind of invisible whisper, a silent scented map meticulously laid down by another of its kin. It is more than a mere chemical marker. It is a profound chemical message, a secreted thought, a silent instruction whispered onto the very surface of the ground that resonates with the simple, compelling direction. This way, this way. This is a language without sound, a form of communication that is utterly gentle, entirely pure, and profoundly collaborative, a shared secret passed from one silent mind to another without a single spoken word or harsh command. The ant's antennae are the exquisitely delicate tools used to receive this subtle yet potent message. They function like the most sensitive of instruments, finely tuned to listen not to auditory vibrations, but to the intricate, nuanced sense of the world, distinguishing the specific molecular keys that unlock the pathway. These antennae, ever in motion, are not only for detection but for interpretation, translating the invisible plume of scent into a clear, navigable direction. To ensure the reception of these gentle whispers, these vital messages from the collective, the ant engages in a quiet, meticulous ritual of care, constantly cleaning its antenna. This is not a chore, but a profound act of maintenance, a silent devotion that ensures its continuous, unimpeded connection to the silent path, to the shared wisdom of the colony. The antennae are not just sensory organs, they are the threads that weave the individual into the greater tapestry of the collective. Perpetually cleansing them is an act of quiet reverence for this connection. The trail itself, this ephemeral ribbon of guidance, originates from a specialized gland located in the ant's posterior abdomen. From this subtle source, a gentle substance, laden with molecular information, flows down to be precisely laid upon the ground as the ant moves. This invisible ribbon of scent is not a permanent mark, not an indelible etching into the earth. Rather, it is a temporary gesture of guidance, a fleeting communication designed to serve its immediate purpose and then gracefully dissolve. It is not an act of instruction or command, devoid of any forceful authority. Instead, it is a simple, unselfish offering, a gentle suggestion to those who will follow. Its impermanence is part of its profound wisdom, ensuring flexibility and adaptability within the ever-changing landscape of the ant's world. Other ants, coming upon this subtle aromatic trail, will instantly recognize the silent signal. Their own sensitive antennae will decode the chemical signature, and they will instinctively, gently, follow its lead. As they follow the path guided by the unseen whisper, and eventually return to their collective home, to the bustling, quiet heart of the nest, they too will add their own gentle contribution. With each step of their return journey, they will deposit their own pheromone, renewing the trail, making the path stronger, more prominent, and more reassuring for the next wave of foragers who are just setting out into the vast world. The trail, therefore, is not a message from a single ant, a solitary directive, but a continuous living co authored map. It is a dynamic, evolving manifestation of a collective consciousness, a shared understanding passed silently among the countless members of the colony. This is not a hierarchical system rigidly enforced from above. It is a profoundly collaborative one where every member, simply by existing and moving, contributes to the well being of the whole. There is no conflict here, no competition, no struggle for individual dominance, only the quiet, shared purpose of the group, a harmonious flow of energy. The narrative of the pheromone trail therefore becomes a peaceful metaphor for a shared flow of energy, a feeling of gentle collective harmony that subtly guides the mind away from its own frantic individual struggles, inviting it instead to rest in the comfort of interconnectedness, in the quiet, supportive embrace of a shared, gentle purpose. The scent rises, dissipates, and is renewed, a living, breathing testament to the power of quiet, selfless cooperation, dissolving the ego's grip and replacing it with the soothing understanding of being a part of something larger, something infinitely peaceful and wise. Chapter 3: A Journey of Texture and Light. The ant's journey continues, a slow and steady meditation on the intricate interplay of texture and sensation. Each movement is a deliberate exploration, a continuous engagement with the magnified details of its immediate world. The ground beneath its delicate legs is not a uniform surface, but a canvas of infinite variation, a constantly changing landscape that demands a continuous, gentle adaptation. It shifts seamlessly from the slick, almost glassy surface of a small fallen stone, smoothed by eons of wind and rain, which offers a fleeting, frictionless glide, to the deep, yielding roughness of loose soil, where each tiny particle provides a new point of contact, a subtle resistance that grounds the ant in its present moment. The journey becomes a tactile poem, each step a word, each surface a stanza in the unfolding narrative of its movement. A dewdrop, clinging precariously to the fine hair of a blade of grass, or resting on the smooth expanse of a tiny leaf, glistens in the soft light, transforming into a miniature, ephemeral lake of light and moisture. To the ant, this tiny sphere of water is not just a glistening jewel, but a significant topographical feature, a vast, shimmering body of water to be carefully navigated around, its surface reflecting the subtle shifts in illumination, creating a world of distorted, gentle light. In this microcosm, the senses that matter most are those that feel, those that perceive the world through direct, intimate contact. The ant's antenna, these remarkable extensions of its being, are not solely dedicated to the reception of chemical signals, to the silent language of scent. They are also meticulously employed for touching, for a continuous gentle dance of feeling the world as the ant goes, tapping, sweeping, and probing every millimeter of its path. These antennae perceive the faint, fragrant plume of the scent rising from the ground, confirming the path, but they also read the texture of the earth, the slope of a pebble, the bend of a blade of grass, translating this tactile information into an immediate profound understanding of its environment. They are constantly engaged in a silent dialogue with the world, a perpetual act of gentle communication. When the ant finds a strong, clear trail, when the invisible whisper of pheromone is rich and unmistakable, its movement undergoes a subtle yet profound transformation. This is not a sudden burst of frantic speed born from a place of panic or urgency, but rather a gentle reassurance, an almost imperceptible shift in its gait. Its movement becomes straighter, more confident, a quiet, flowing glide across the landscape. The trail itself, with its potent, clear scent, serves as a form of quiet confirmation, a silent way of saying, yes, you are on the right path. This is the way forward. This affirmation allows the ant to release any subtle, unconscious hesitation, to move with an unburdened grace. As the ant moves along, deeply immersed in the sensory richness of its journey, it pays no mind to the unnecessary details, to the superfluous visual clutter that might distract a more visually oriented creature. Its world is one primarily composed of soft light and broad encompassing shadows, of the deep quiet trembling of the earth itself, subtle vibrations that resonate through its tiny body, communicating the unseen rhythms of the world. The journey is not about reaching a predetermined destination quickly, not about rushing to an endpoint to achieve a goal. Instead, it is profoundly about existing fully in the state of following and reinforcing the path, of being present in the very act of movement and contribution. It is a slow, unhurried meditation, a practice in mindful traversal. The mind of the observer is invited to detach from its own frantic, goal oriented thoughts, from the incessant pressure to achieve and acquire. Instead, it is gently encouraged to simply be present, moving from one tiny rich moment to the next, without a pressing need for a complex purpose or an urgent outcome. The value lies in the journey itself, in the quiet observation and the gentle continuation, a timeless ballet of movement and sensation that lulls the mind into a state of profound peace. The world of the ant, a tapestry of touch and subtle light, becomes a mirror reflecting the quiet beauty of simply existing, moment by unhurried moment, each tiny detail an invitation to deeper calm. Chapter 4: The Fading Map. The most profoundly peaceful thing about the invisible trail, this silent scented map, is its inherent impermanence. The gentle whisper of the pheromone, a fleeting message laid upon the ground, is meant to be exquisitely temporary. The very substance of the pheromone is volatile by nature, designed to evaporate into the encompassing air quickly, often dissipating entirely within just a few precious minutes, a matter of mere moments in the grand, slow unfolding of the ant's world. This rapid fading, this graceful dissolution, is not a weakness in the design of nature's systems. Rather, it is a profound and gentle evolutionary advantage, a testament to the quiet wisdom embedded in the ant colony's very existence. Its fleeting nature ensures that old trails, which might lead to food sources that have been exhausted, depleted, or have simply moved, do not linger on the ground, clinging stubbornly to relevance. They do not cause confusion for new foragers setting out, nor do they waste the precious energy of the collective on paths that no longer serve a purpose. The message carried by the pheromone is only for the here and now, a kind of passing thought, a transient suggestion that serves its immediate vital purpose, and then, with profound elegance, dissolves back into the quiet, encompassing air, a gentle, unburdened act of letting go, of releasing what is no longer needed. This natural, inherent process of dissolution, this continuous fading, is a quiet lesson in wisdom, an unspoken teaching for any mind burdened by clinging. The ant colony, functioning as a single harmonious entity, does not cling to useless information, to outdated directives, or to paths that no longer lead to abundance. When a food source begins to dwindle, when its bounty diminishes, the returning ants, with their innate collective intelligence, instinctively cease to reinforce the trail with their own contributions. Without this continuous replenishment, the subtle scent of the pheromone begins its inevitable process of decay, slowly diffusing and evaporating into the atmosphere, becoming fainter and fainter until it is no more. This peaceful letting go, this effortless release of the outdated, prevents the colony from wasting its invaluable energy on what is no longer there, on what has ceased to be beneficial. It is a perfect, gentle parallel for the minesweeper function of this narrative, a soothing mechanism designed to quiet the restless human mind. Anxious thoughts, persistent worries, and recurring fears, much like old exhausted trails, are often utterly useless. They lead only to mental dead ends, to cycles of unproductive rumination. Holding on to them, clinging to their familiar yet unhelpful presence, is a form of confusion that actively prevents the mind from finding a new, more beneficial path, a fresher, more fruitful direction for its energy. This narrative tenderly describes the gentle, natural process of the pheromone dissolving into the air, comparing it with quiet metaphor to the dissolution of those persistent, unhelpful thoughts. The listener is provided with a peaceful, natural model for letting go, one that requires no struggle, no forced effort, no strenuous mental exertion. It is a dissolution that simply occurs naturally, gracefully, just as the scent fades into the air. The ant's journey, guided by this ephemeral map, is itself a temporary one, a segment of a larger, ongoing cycle. And when its purpose has been fulfilled, when the collective has gleaned its benefit from the path, the trail simply dissolves back into the stillness of the world, returning to the vast, quiet canvas from which it momentarily emerged. There is no trace of regret, no lingering attachment, just the quiet wisdom of releasing what has served its time. This gentle impermanence is a profound comfort, a silent promise that even the most persistent of mental burdens can, with quiet acceptance, simply fade away, leaving behind only the calm, unburdened expanse of the present moment, inviting a deep, restorative peace. The world itself breathes out and releases, and so too can the mind, finding solace in the natural rhythm of letting go and dissolving into quiet. Chapter 5. The Gift of Scent. The trail's purpose, so elegantly simple, is at its core profoundly significant: to lead others to a good thing, to share the bounty found with the collective. As the ant continues its slow, steady journey back to the heart of the nest, it is engaged in more than just the act of reinforcing a physical path. It is confirming a discovery, a silent testament to abundance. The concentration of the pheromone being laid down, the very strength and richness of the scent that emanates from its tiny body, is a direct and physical manifestation of this discovery, a measure of the richness of the find. The more abundant and valuable the food source discovered, the higher the concentration of the pheromone the returning ant deposits, creating a stronger, clearer, and more compelling scent for others to follow. It is a silent, gentle form of positive feedback, a quiet declaration of success, a fragrant beacon drawing others towards prosperity. This is communication at its most elegant, a language of generosity whispered on the wind. Those ants who have already diligently found a good source, who have gathered their share and are now on their unhurried way back to the bustling activity of their home, are known within the colony's silent understanding as the returners. They move with a clear, unwavering purpose, a steady rhythm that speaks of accomplishment and shared responsibility. Their contribution to the collective is vital, an indispensable part of the colony's continuous success. It is they who, with each step of their homeward journey, make the path more prominent, more certain, more profoundly reassuring for the next wave of foragers who are just setting out into the vast unknown world. Their quiet, continuous act of deposition strengthens the invisible bridge between discovery and shared prosperity. This act of reinforcement, this quiet yet powerful contribution, is not born of great effort or conscious strenuous thought. It is an instinctual, simple collective confirmation of a good thing, a natural outpouring of shared purpose. The trail becomes stronger, not through the forceful singular effort of one individual, but through the gentle, continuous, and cooperative contributions of many. Each returning ant adds its delicate molecular signature, building upon the faint traces left by those before it, weaving a denser, more discernible tapestry of scent. This quiet reward system, this inherent mechanism of reinforcement, forms a peaceful natural feedback loop that underpins the very existence and success of the ant colony. The more the ants contribute to a positive outcome, the discovery of food, the successful navigation of the terrain, the safe return to the nest, the clearer, the more certain, and the more easily followed the path becomes for all. It is a symbiotic relationship between individual action and collective benefit, where every quiet effort enhances the journey for everyone. This entire process is a subtle yet powerful message of quiet productivity, a profound illustration of success achieved without the burden of stress or frantic competition. There is no need for haste, no anxious push, only the calm, steady rhythm of collective contribution leading to a shared, quiet abundance. The scent trail, therefore, becomes a metaphor for the gentle amplification of positivity, a silent promise that when intentions are aligned and efforts are shared without ego, the path to fulfillment becomes undeniably clear and effortlessly accessible to all who seek it, drawing them in with its gentle, fragrant invitation. Chapter 6: A Slow and Steady Rhythm. The ant's world is a universe defined by a constant, cyclical movement, a perpetual, gentle dance of life and contribution. The foragers, those explorers driven by an innate curiosity and the gentle pull of sustenance, wander with a meandering, searching gait, perpetually seeking out new sources of sustenance, new territories to explore, new whispers of opportunity on the wind. In contrast, the returners, laden with their discoveries, move with a more direct, clear, and unhesitating purpose, their antenna unwavering, their steps sure as they make their way back to the bustling, yet always quiet heart of the nest. There is no ultimate, finite destination in this ongoing process, no single endpoint to be frantically rushed towards. There is only a continuous gentle rhythm, an eternal ebb and flow. It is a slow dance of leaving and returning, of finding and reinforcing, a cyclical ballet that perfectly mirrors the calm, unhurried breath of the earth itself. The narrative, in its gentle unfolding, consistently circles back to these core soothing themes, repeating the imagery of the ant's movement, the texture of the ground, and the silent language of scent. This repetition is deliberate, a masterful technique designed to create a lulling, rocking rhythm for the listener's mind, drawing it deeper into a state of profound relaxation. The gentle touch of the antennae on the ground, a continuous, almost imperceptible caress against the varied surfaces, the feeling of the rough, textured soil yielding slightly beneath the ant's delicate tarsi, the quiet, almost ethereal scent carried on the soft breeze. All these sensory details are revisited throughout the narrative, not to progress a dramatic plot or introduce new tension, but to deepen the pervasive sense of peace and familiarity. Each repetition serves to embed the imagery more firmly in the mind, creating a comforting loop, a predictable embrace of tranquility. It is like the repetitive murmur of waves on a distant shore, or the steady rhythmic swing of a pendulum, each return to the familiar, a deeper descent into calm. The repetition of these ideas, these gentle sensory experiences, is a central mechanism of this narrative's profound calming effect. It consciously provides the mind with a predictable, non stimulating pattern to follow, a soft mental groove that bypasses the need for novelty or the frantic search for external engagement. The ant simply exists within this cycle. It is not striving to achieve some grand overarching end goal, nor is it driven by the anxieties of an uncertain future. Instead, it is simply present, moving slowly and steadily through its world, each moment complete in itself. The narrative does not build tension, it simply repeats and deepens the sensory details of the same gentle journey, like a soft, comforting wave continually washing over the shore, each crest and trough a predictable, soothing caress. This predictable, repetitive motion is the very foundation of the script's hypnotic power. It deliberately allows the mind to relax its grip, to let go of its incessant need for novelty, for excitement, for problem solving. It offers a gentle escape from the demanding pace of conscious thought, guiding the listener into a state of receptive calm. It is a slow, steady breath that the listener can effortlessly follow, synchronizing their own rhythm with the unhurried pace of the ant, finding profound rest and rejuvenation in its unwavering, unhurried cadence. The entire experience becomes a soothing meditation on cyclical existence, on the quiet beauty of continuity, a silent promise of endless gentle return to peace. The steady hum of the ant's existence, mirrored in the rhythmic flow of the narrative, invites the listener to surrender to the peaceful, repetitive unfolding of time, allowing all worries to dissipate like the pheromone into the vast, still air. Chapter 7: The Collective Dream. As the ant completes its individual journey, as its tiny body settles into a state of rest, a subtle yet profound shift occurs in the narrative's perspective. The focus gently widens, expanding beyond the singular path of one small creature, to reveal not merely a collection of distinct individuals, but a great, harmonious, and utterly unified whole. The ant colony emerges into the listener's perception not as a mere aggregation of countless tiny bodies, each moving independently, but as a single, exquisitely coordinated organism, a living, breathing entity that profoundly transcends the simple sum of its parts. It is a collective dream made manifest through countless unhurried, perfectly synchronized actions, a unified purpose expressed through the quiet, ceaseless movement of many, an intricate ballet performed without a single director. The very air around the nest pulses with this shared existence, a silent hum of ceaseless industry and profound cooperation that resonates with a deep ancestral peace, a palpable sense of harmonious being. Each ant, in its simple, unforced act of following and reinforcing the invisible trail, contributes to the intricate, invisible architecture of this collective being, a living symphony of shared intent, where every note, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, is vital to the harmonious whole, essential to the grand composition. The pheromones, these delicate unseen chemical threads that weave through the colony's existence, which so elegantly guide their daily foraging expeditions, are not limited to this single vital function. They are the foundational language, the very nervous system, the intricate communication network that organizes a myriad of other collective efforts, from the coordinated defense against an external threat, a silent unified stand against disruption, where countless bodies move as one, to the monumental, yet always gentle and unhurried relocation of the entire colony to a new, more suitable home. Every action, every decision, every intricate movement is seamlessly orchestrated, not by a single commanding authority, but by the continuous, diffusing whisper of these chemical messages, all flowing effortlessly, purely, and altruistically for the greater good of the group, for the enduring prosperity, safety, and peace of the collective. This coordinated action, this silent, selfless dance of countless individuals, is the very foundation of the ants' quiet, pervasive success and their profound, unaggressive dominance of their terrestrial environment. They do not conquer with overt force, but with harmonious efficiency, their quiet, ceaseless presence an undeniable testament to the unparalleled power of unity, a living embodiment of the strength found in selfless collaboration. The trail, therefore, is far more than just a literal path on the ground, a mere physical line drawn in the dust or etched into the soil. It is also a plume, a silent, beautiful vapor of collective purpose, rising gently from the earth like a fragrant mist, an ethereal breath diffusing gracefully into the vast open air above the colony. It is an enduring, subtle, and constant communication, a gentle, fragrant signal of shared life, of intricate interconnectedness that transcends individual boundaries, weaving all into a unified whole. This plume, invisible to the human eye, but profoundly real and resonant to the ant, is a constant reminder of the colony's shared identity, its collective aspirations, and its continuous quiet work, a visible manifestation of their unseen unity. It is the very breath of the colony, eternally rising, dissolving, and being renewed, a living symbol of endless cycles of cooperation and profound interconnectedness. The individual ant's journey, though seemingly small and isolated in its physical manifestation, is in fact a vital, intricate part of this greater peaceful harmony, a single thread meticulously woven into a vast, luminous tapestry of shared existence, each thread essential to the strength and beauty of the whole. Each ant, by simply being, by simply moving, by simply contributing its essence, perpetuates and strengthens this collective dream, this living, breathing entity that sustains them all, drawing strength from their unity. The ultimate state of peace, this narrative gently suggests, is not found in a lonely solitude, in an isolated withdrawal from the world. in a frantic pursuit of individual gain, but in a profound sense of belonging within a harmonious collective purpose, a quiet understanding of one's integral place within a greater benevolent whole, a vast supportive network of life. The ant colony, with its quiet, tireless, and profoundly selfless work, its seamless integration of individual effort into collective good, offers a powerful final image for the listener to carry into the gentle descent towards sleep, an image of quiet, shared prosperity. It is a visual and sensory metaphor for letting go of individual burdens and finding solace, comfort, and deep rest in the vast supportive embrace of something larger than oneself, something infinitely wise and nurturing. The faint, almost imperceptible hum of the colony, a resonant vibration that speaks of countless lives moving in perfect unison, a gentle, pervasive thrum of life, and the rising plume of scent, a fragrant testament to shared purpose and collective well being, are perfect, non dramatic images for a peaceful, unburdened transition into deep, restorative slumber. They are not demanding or exciting, but profoundly reassuring, inviting the mind to sink into a state of quiet acceptance and profound belonging, allowing all worries to dissolve, leaving only the profound peace of connection. The air, rich with the subtle perfume of their collective life, becomes a comforting blanket, drawing the listener deeper and deeper into the soft, embracing quietude of rest, their consciousness gently merging with the vast, peaceful hum of the world. Chapter 8: The Silent Architects of Change. Even within the profound, intricate harmony of the collective dream, within the seemingly unchanging rhythm of the ant colony, change is an ever present, gentle, yet immensely powerful force, a subtle, pervasive current that perpetually shapes and reshapes the ant's lived world. The colony, far from being static or rigidly set in its ways, far from clinging to old patterns, possesses an inherent quiet wisdom, a remarkable adaptive intelligence that allows it to respond to the shifting dynamics of its environment with effortless grace and remarkable efficiency. This continuous process of adaptation, this silent evolution, this unforced relinquishing of the old for the new, is fundamentally orchestrated by the very same pheromone trails that guide their daily foraging, the same invisible whispers that define their path. These ephemeral, chemical lines are not just static maps of the known, but also the dynamic, responsive tools for initiating and navigating change, for gracefully shifting direction. Imagine for a moment a once rich food source that begins to dwindle, its abundant bounty diminishing with each passing day, its allure fading like a distant memory, or perhaps an old established trail that becomes hazardous due to a sudden torrential downpour that transforms the earth into a treacherous mire, a crumbling embankment that blocks the way, or the unexpected appearance of a new predatory threat that renders the path dangerous. The colony, with its inherent wisdom, does not resist this change with frantic effort or stubborn, futile adherence to old, unworkable ways. Instead, it responds with an innate collective wisdom, a peaceful, unforced relinquishing of the obsolete, a quiet surrender to the present reality. When a returning ant perceives a significant reduction in the reward at the end of a previously strong, reliable trail, its contribution of pheromone upon its return journey is instinctively reduced, a subtle, unconscious signal of diminished value. This subtle shift, multiplied across many returning ants who encounter the same reduced bounty, leads to a gradual, almost imperceptible weakening of the scent, a gentle fading of the invisible map. As fewer ants reinforce the path, as the flow of chemical information dwindles, the volatile pheromone, true to its ephemeral nature, rapidly dissipates into the air, gracefully dissolving into the quiet atmosphere, leaving no trace behind. A perfect lesson in letting go. This is not a conscious decision made by a central, governing authority. There is no ant queen issuing directives to abandon a trail. Rather, it is a distributed, emergent property of the collective, a self regulating system that quietly adapts, gracefully shifting its focus and energy without any need for deliberation or command. Simultaneously, as foragers continue their exploratory wanderings, their antennae constantly searching for new opportunities, they might stumble upon a new, richer food source, a fresh vein of abundance, a previously undiscovered oasis of nourishment. The first ants to discover this new treasure will, upon their return, lay down a strong, concentrated pheromone trail, broadcasting the good news with an increased intensity of scent, a powerful chemical declaration of prosperity. This newly laid path, vibrant with the promise of plenty, begins to attract other foragers, drawing them in with its compelling aromatic signal. As more ants follow this new potent trail and find its generous reward, they in turn reinforce it even more strongly, creating a powerful positive feedback loop that amplifies the signal. The nascent path quickly intensifies, becoming the dominant, most attractive route, while the older, fading trail gradually loses its allure, its silent whisper becoming increasingly indistinct until it is no more, completely absorbed back into the vastness of the earth, leaving the collective free to pursue new abundance. This seamless process is a profound metaphor for the quiet abandonment of unhelpful mental patterns, for the gentle release of limiting beliefs, for the effortless letting go of anxiety and worry. Anxious thoughts, persistent negative rumination, much like old unrewarding trails, often persist within the human mind due to sheer habit, due to the mind's unconscious, often frantic, reinforcement of their patterns. But just as the ant colony instinctively lets go of trails that no longer serve their purpose, that lead only to depletion, the mind is invited to observe the subtle signals of its own internal experience. When a thought or belief leads only to distress, to a sense of exhaustion rather than renewal, to a dead end rather than progress, the narrative encourages a peaceful, non-resistant reduction of mental reinforcement. Without the constant attention, without the dwelling, without the repetitive engagement, these unhelpful patterns, like the fading pheromone, will naturally begin to dissipate, their grip weakening as their power dissolves into the vast open space of the mind's quietude. The emphasis is not on forceful eradication, on a strenuous battle against one's own thoughts, but on a gentle, natural fading, a non-resistant letting go, a quiet acceptance of impermanence. Beyond foraging, the same principle of dynamic pheromone-guided adaptation extends to and guides more monumental shifts, such as the complete relocation of an entire colony. When an old nest becomes untenable, whether due to environmental changes, persistent predator pressure, or simply reaching the limits of its capacity, scout ants begin the quiet, meticulous search for new prospective homes. Each scout, Upon finding a suitable location, a potential new sanctuary will return and lay down a temporary exploratory trail, broadcasting its discovery, its chemical suggestion. Other scouts will follow these trails, assess the new site with their own antennae and senses, and if they agree it is superior, they too will add their pheromone to the path, reinforcing the new home message, strengthening the signal. Over time, the most advantageous new site will accumulate the strongest, most compelling pheromone trail, becoming the clear, undeniable collective choice, the most vibrant whisper of promise. The ants then embark on a quiet, organized migration, following the strongest scent, leaving the old nest behind without a single glance of regret, without any lingering attachment to what was. This is an act of profound non attachment, a collective wisdom that embraces change and adaptation without struggle or conflict, a fluid movement into the future. The silent architects of the colony, the pheromones themselves, guide this evolution, allowing the collective to flow with the currents of change, finding new paths to peace and prosperity, a gentle, continuous act of letting go and moving forward, always in perfect, harmonious attunement with the subtle whispers of their evolving world. This gentle, adaptive flow of collective will provide a profound sense of security and trust, a quiet, pervasive understanding that the path, though ever changing and dynamically responsive, will always lead to what is truly needed, dissolving the fear of uncertainty and embracing the quiet power of fluid adaptation. Chapter 9: The Unseen Symphony of Connection. The ant's journey, which began as a solitary pilgrimage across a vast, intricately textured landscape, a single thread woven into the silence of the ground, now culminates not in an isolated endpoint, but in a profound understanding of deep, intrinsic, and utterly pervasive connection. The individual ant, having played its vital and selfless role in the delicate rhythmic dance of foraging and reinforcement, its minute body, a testament to diligent contribution, now rests, its tiny form still, its antennae momentarily at peace, having fulfilled its purpose, but the harmony it contributed to, the grand collective dream it embodied and sustained, continues its silent, unseen symphony, an eternal resonance that transcends any single moment or individual. This symphony is not a cacophony of audible sound, not a jarring collection of noises, but a rich, multisensory tapestry woven from the very fabric of the earth, the subtle movements of countless lives, and the pervasive, unseen language of scent. The hum of the colony, which was once introduced as a faint, almost imperceptible vibration, now resonates with a deeper, more encompassing, and undeniably profound presence. It is the quiet, ceaseless thrum of countless lives moving in perfect unison, a low, steady frequency that speaks of inherent stability, of continuous, abundant life, of a vast, intricate, interconnected network working in perfect, unforced synchronicity. This hum is the sound of existence itself, a deep, comforting vibration that permeates the very ground, rising up through the resilient earth to soothe and ground the listener, reminding them of the fundamental, unbreakable interconnectedness of all living things, of the universal web of life. It is the earth's own lullaby, a primal song of belonging, a testament to the quiet, undeniable power of collective being, a melody of harmonious existence. And above this resonant hum, above the very earth, the plume of scent, The silent, beautiful vapor of collective purpose continues its gentle, continuous ascent from the heart of the colony. It rises like an ethereal breath, a visible manifestation of unseen energy, diffusing gracefully into the vast open air, carrying with it the fragrant narrative of shared effort, of mutual support, of an unwavering, selfless commitment to the good of the whole. This plume is far more than just a chemical signal, a mere collection of molecules. It is a spiritual emanation, a subtle and constant communication that speaks volumes of shared life, of an intricate web of invisible, unbreakable bonds that hold the collective together in perfect unity. It is the very breath of the colony, eternally rising, dissolving, and being renewed, a living symbol of endless cycles of cooperation and profound interconnectedness, a constant reminder of the invisible threads that bind. The individual ant's journey, though seemingly small and isolated in its physical manifestation, is a perfect miniature reflection of this greater peaceful harmony, a tiny essential part of an immense benevolent design, a microcosm of cosmic order. The silent path it followed, which it meticulously reinforced, and which ultimately dissolved back into the earth, serves as a powerful, gentle reminder that all journeys are temporary, all efforts are cyclical, and all contributions, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, become part of a grander, more enduring flow of energy and purpose, a continuous river of collective being. The ultimate state of peace, this narrative gently reiterates with a calming insistence, is not found in a frantic, ceaseless search for individual achievement, nor in an isolated struggle against the inherent currents of life, striving against the natural flow. Rather, it profoundly resides in a deep, comforting sense of belonging, in the reassuring realization that one is a vital, integrated, and cherished part of something infinitely larger and more harmonious, a collective purpose that transcends the individual ego, a vast supportive network of life that embraces and sustains all its parts. The ant colony, with its quiet, tireless, and profoundly selfless work, its seamless integration of individual effort into the collective good, its profound attunement to the subtle, powerful rhythms of nature, offers a powerful final image for the listener to carry into the gentle descent toward deep, restorative sleep. It is a world where every action is a quiet contribution, every movement a dance of belonging, and every breath a quiet, profound affirmation of interconnectedness, a silent prayer of unity. The faint, almost imperceptible hum of the colony, a resonant vibration that speaks of countless lives moving in perfect unison, a gentle, pervasive thrum of life and continuous creation, and the rising plume of scent, a fragrant testament to shared purpose and collective well-being, are perfect, non-dramatic images for a peaceful, unburdened transition into deep, restful slumber. They are not demanding or exciting, but profoundly reassuring, inviting the mind to sink into a state of quiet acceptance and profound belonging, allowing all worries, all anxieties, all the day's burdens to dissolve, leaving only the profound peace of connection, the quiet comfort of being part of something vast and ancient. The air, now rich with the subtle perfume of their collective life, becomes a comforting, ethereal blanket, drawing the listener deeper and deeper into the soft, embracing quietude of rest, their consciousness gently merging with the vast, peaceful hum of the world, a silent cosmic lullaby. The journey is now complete. The silent path, guided by invisible whispers and sustained by collective harmony, has led not to a singular frantic destination, but to a state of profound rest, a deep tranquility where all effort ceases, where mind and body find equilibrium. The mind, having witnessed the ant's quiet existence, can now gently let go of its frantic thoughts, its individual struggles, its fleeting anxieties, knowing it is a part of something much larger, a quiet, peaceful whole that holds it in a timeless, nurturing embrace. The ant sleeps, its tiny form at peace within the vast humming collective, a tiny node in a grand network, and you too can now sleep, cradled in the unseen symphony of connection, drifting effortlessly into the profound stillness of deep restorative slumber, dissolved into the universal calm. The world below breathes, and so does the peace within you, a perfect harmonious resonance,